Well, welcome to the Stone Roadie podcast. It's the one you don't want to miss. It stars Craig Reed, the Stone Roadie, and Griff, the rocket scientist. Let's not forget Kathy GODSEY and all the old friends that come along. Lord, we'll be talking Skynyrd and leaving you with a song.
Podcast 114, action. Alrighty then, looky here. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 114th edition of the STONED Roadie Show. And my name's Craig Reed, a.k.a. the STONED Roadie, and this is my co-host, the lovely Kathy GODSEY. And welcome to our second annual New Year's Eve celebration 2024. And God, where am I going to go from here?
Well, we have a lot to do. The first thing we're going to do is continue reading the cards last week that came in after Christmas, because last week I think we read around 25 cards that came in, right? People were really generous with their donations, and we knew that some cards were on their way. So Craig is going to read those cards, and then we'll do a couple of shout outs, and we're going to we're going to summarize some of the highlights and the guests that were on the podcast this year. And then we'll do some questions, and then we'll wrap it up for this year. Do you have those cards ready, Craig?
Yeah, let me get my remote control here. I got to turn this volume up. Well, I can hear okay. Anyway, here we go. Start off with the first card here. God, I thought I opened these. Oh, I did. I opened this one backwards.
Angus is here again.
This is from Cindy Hudson. It's not much, but we hope it will help the forgotten survivors. $10, and here's her card she sent in.
Thank you, Cindy.
And this one came with I forgot to put this came with that work case that we sent last week. It came from the Appleton, and have a Merry Christmas. I always enjoy the show. Such a great team of Kathy, Craig, Kathy, and Griff. Jeff Warner Appleton, $10.
Very nice, thank you. Oh, that's a cute card. Very nice.
And we only got a couple of these. It won't take a minute here. And those brownies you left for Santa, they were the ones that you brought with the prescription, weren't they, Daddy? And keep up the good work. It's I've seen every podcast. Looking forward to 2024 Jam, $5.
Very nice. Thank you again.
And from my sister Gail. And dearest Craig, Santa told me you officially made the nice list. Happy holidays. Because I care. Love you, Gail. $41.
Oh, that's very nice.
And James Cross, $100.
Very generous.
And for the survivors, hope this helps. Merry Christmas. Keep sending to. Please send to Mark Howard for his leg. Craig, you're the best. Love, peace, and love all to all the survivors, Kathy Keeble and Savannah Napier.
Oh, that's very
Thank you,
nice. That's
Kathy
very
and
nice.
Savannah. And this goes to Mark Howard. Yeah, $100. And I've already opened all these up and took the money out and sent these. I sent the money out a couple days ago.
Good. So
to everybody.
good. So you mailed those
Except
checks
for
out.
Leslie, because I don't really have Leslie's address. So Griff's trying to get that together.
I think Mikey might have that. Mikey, if you have that address, can you send it to me? I think he may have it.
When I sent my Christmas card, I was doing an imitation of the Stoned Roadie and forgot to include the donation. Dave, $100, and he has a little drawing he put up.
Oh, okay. That's so funny.
Now Griff calls Dave he says Dave's one of our new disciples because I guess Dave sends individual donations to Mark and Paul and everybody individually. So without any gratification, Dave sends me all kind of stuff. He sends Kathy stuff. He sends Griff stuff. So yeah, he's one of our new disciples. So thank you, Dave. And that's all we got here.
That's very nice of everybody to be so generous. Everybody can see we're all decked out. These glasses are not really glasses. This is just a filter I put on through. So I'll change it every once in a while if I get a chance. But I went out to the party store and I bought some beads and I bought this little thing. And I'm going out tonight to see my favorite band play. And so we're happy to do this. And Craig, you're going to air this. So that, like, what do you say? What time is it?
This is, we're going to do this Stone Roadie time. It's actually Atlantic Standard Time, which is an hour earlier than Eastern Standard Time. So you can all watch this Stone Roadie time. And then when Eastern Standard time comes up, you can all celebrate your normal festivities. So yeah, we're just going to do this an hour early because, New Year's Eve, there's 24 different New Year's Eves all over the world, and starts in New Zealand. I think is the first official celebration. I think there's one time zone ahead of that, but it's there's that's the way.
I wasn't aware of that. Years ago we moved from New Jersey to California for 2 years, and the first year I was there, the New Year's Eve. I didn't realize we were watching the ball drop in Times Square 3 hours after the people on the East Coast are watching. It's like, wait a minute, they already saw it. Everybody's in bed and we're watching it here 3 hours later. But I missed Times Square when I lived in California. I missed New York and I missed all the festivities in Times Square. And after 2 years, I came back and I said, I'm staying out here. This is where I belong.
Yeah, I'm not sure when exactly how many hours ago it dropped in New Zealand, but yeah, it's got there's 24 different time zones, because it takes 24 hours for the world to make the spin, so there's 24 time zones. So yeah, I've actually flown. I took off one day and got there the day before when we went to Australia. That was kind of weird. But then when we left Australia and flew wherever we were going, I missed a day. We was like, wait, what happened to Thursday?
I heard a comedian talking about that. He's like, that's not very travel, and a day of his life was taken away because
I missed a day of my life somehow there. What happened to Thursday?
That's funny.
So yeah,
I want to give a shout out to two people. You just mentioned Cindy Hudson. She's been really supportive. She sends me all messages all the time and pictures of her animals, and she's really nice. And I see she just sent a card. So shout out to Cindy. She's a new, I guess, supporter of the Stone Roadie show. And then Robin Blankenship. she's a new name too, really supportive. So thanks to those ladies and all of the people who we've mentioned and given shout outs to over the year. The support is really, really appreciated. And remember, the subscribers are really important because just hit the subscribe button. Doesn't cost you any money. And by generating more subscribers, more funds are generated for the survivors. So just hit that button if you can, and please subscribe and like the show. Now, Craig, one of the things I wanted to do tonight was just recap the highlights of some of the shows this year. Is there anything you wanted to talk about before that, or do you want me to get ready?
Well, I do have a rebuttal.
Go for it.
On Sunday, our Sunday morning acoustic show, Six Gun did a song that I wasn't familiar with, and it's called "You Need to Be With Me." And I said, I don't recall that song. Maybe that's one of their originals, but so supposedly Susan Tedeschi wrote that like 14 years ago.
Yeah, I've heard that song before.
Yeah, and I wasn't familiar with it, but I like the song. But I went back and I went and somebody told me, well, actually, Sada's mother asked Griff, said, "Man, will you do a rebuttal on that? Because I don't want them to get in trouble because that's not their song." You said that you think that was their song. So she asked if we would kind of counter that and say that, you know, Susan Tedeschi wrote that, and that was just a cover. But I went back and listened to her version, and actually I like the way Six Gun did it better. Sorry, Susan, but you know, that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes.
And then also
Robin Battery. This is funny. When I was with Foreigner in 1978, now this is Easter of 1978, so that's April. Now the plane crash was in basically November of 77, so this is November, December, January, February, March, April. I was already in Hawaii on tour with Foreigner. I was actually started working with Foreigner. By February, I was living in New York City, but in April of 78, I was in Hawaii. Apparently, I met Robin and her family on the airplane, and I guess I helped her mother get her bag down off the thing or whatever. So apparently, I met up with Robin and her friend, and we went all over Hawaii, and they said they had the best time with me. And she said she's been looking for me ever since that, you know, just to get back with me. And she said she showed up at a Lynyrd Skynyrd show and said, "Hey, is Craig Reed still here?" And they goes, "Yeah, he's back there," you know. But that's when I was traveling with the band, and as soon as the show was over, I got in the limos and hauled ass with the band. So I didn't get to see her. So she found me on Facebook, and I gave her my number, and she called me the other day, and all this stuff that she was telling me we did and stuff. I don't remember anything. She just said she said we were driving around Hawaii, and I had a girl on each side of me, and that I was a perfect gentleman the whole time, and and they had the best time being with me, and I was such a nice guy, and her mom I met her mom and everything, and we went out to dinner and all kind of stuff. And I don't remember anything, you know, but I was still in shock. I mean, God, that was April, and the plane crash was in February, and you know, October, few 4 months before that. So yeah, I was still in shock. I don't remember any of it, but yeah, I was glad you called, Robin, the other day. That was a fun conversation we had. But yeah, let's get back to whatever we were talking about.
Okay, all right. Now that was what. Where does she live now? Where did you say she lives?
California. Matter of fact, I said, yeah, my sister lives in Goleta. She goes, "Oh my gosh." She goes, that's when I go to the beach, I go to Goleta. She says, that's a nice beach. So apparently she raises Wolves. She domesticates wolves. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Wow.
Lives in the mountains.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Well, that's
Yeah.
nice that you reestablished that friendship, that connection. It's really nice. All right. You know what, Craig, somebody by the name of Ray Carter, he said, hey guys, you guys, every New Year's episode, you should do a blooper reel from the previous year. And I'm thinking every episode has bloopers.
Yeah, really.
I mean,
Yeah,
like
we
a
don't
couple
edit,
weeks,
so they're all bloopers.
couple of weeks ago, I meant to say the Atlanta Rhythm System. And I said the Atlanta Rhythm section, and somebody jumped on the, I'm Kathy, it's called the Atlanta.
Well, you just said it backwards again. You said system and you meant section.
Atlanta Rhythm section? Oh yeah, Atlanta
it's a
Rhythm section.
rhythm
right.
section, and you said system.
I have their album. I know So Into You. Sometimes we have so much going on, but boy, somebody jumped on me. But we make mistakes. We get information from the internet. Sometimes it's not accurate, but we put it out there, and if anything is incorrect, just correct us. But yeah, we make bloopers. That's okay.
Yeah, Griff did a rebuttal. Griff told me he made a mistake the other day with something, and I forget what it was, but he's got to come on and do a rebuttal on that one too. But yeah, we
what
make
makes it
mistakes.
Yeah, that's okay. Nobody's perfect, right? So I thought that was fun. So Ray Carter, I don't know about a blooper reel. Just watch every single episode. There's a blooper to be found. And then somebody by the name of A Milan, and then Milan 409. You showed a Skynyrd Christmas card. Was that you who showed the Skynyrd Christmas card last time? The Christmas card that Lynyrd Skynyrd used to send out to everyone?
Yeah. That was, yeah.
Well, he wants to know if you could put some color scans of that online. Love to see it up in color, because that's a really rare thing. I've never seen that Lynyrd Skynyrd Christmas card. Could you do that? Could you share it with everybody possibly?
God, I might have that dang thing in my archive somewhere. I'm sure I have one, but I'd have to find it. Yeah.
That was really cool. I never saw that, but pretty cool. And then just to go over, so last year, the New Year's Eve podcast was episode 50. And I recapped all of the previous episodes with everybody who was on them. So I said, if you want to know who was on an episode, here's the list. But this time, I'm not going to go over all the episodes from New Year's Eve until today, but I'm just going to list some of the ones that were a little, oh, look at how cute. Making the appearance. Is that Leon or Wicker?
That's Leon.
Leon the baby. Okay. Little Leon. He's so cute. Leon.
Actually, Leon's older than Wicker.
Oh, really? How old is Leon?
Leon's 6.
Okay.
And Wicker here is 5.
Oh, they're so cute. Oh, those sweetie pies. All right. So, but anyway, last New Year's Eve was episode 50, and now we're up to 114. Is this 114 today?
This is 114. Yeah, we've done, since last year, we've done 50, 60, 64 podcasts since last year.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So there's only 52 weeks in a year, so we've done over
twice a week.
Over one a week, yeah.
Right. So I'm just going to highlight some of the guests who were on that podcast. So podcast 56, Mike Estes. Everybody loves Mike Estes. Everybody wants Mike to come back. I don't know if he's had some health issues, but Mike, if you're listening, everybody's looking for you. 66, you had Dave Pops Clements and Mitch Scoopy. Hysterical. Those guys are a riot. Dave Pops Clements, come back on the podcast. 67, Mitch Scooby was back, and Jimmy Barr, who was the former BB King bus driver. That was really interesting conversation. And then podcast 69 was my friend Mikey Lockout, who had contacted me. He was a former friend of Artemis, worked with Artemis. He got the name Lockout from Artemis. And if you watch the podcast 69, you'll see why Artemis gave Mikey the name Mikey Lockout. Podcast 70 was Mike Owings and Chad, your son. That was really interesting. 86 was my friend Barbara Bulow, who was the woman who was at Alan's house the day I went over there in 1980 with my friend Carolyn McGurl from Cranford. Hopefully she's watching this. Barbara Bulow was really a really great guest. Podcast 93 was Mark Frank. We always want to hear how Mark's doing. Podcast 95 was Kurt Custer. And then 101. Oh, actually, podcast 100, our 100th episode was aired on October 7th. And then podcast, 101, we had Mark Howard and Mitch Scooby back again. Podcast 102, you had the drone footage of the crash site. You had a bunch of podcasts around the time you went back to the crash site. And then podcast 107, Robert Lamb, he was my guest. He was a former friend of Bob Burns. Somebody else actually reached out to me, used to know Bob Burns well, and I'm talking to him a little bit. He would like to come on the podcast. So, but those are some of the highlights. In addition, we've had a lot of other guests and people on the podcast, and Griff has done some of his on the road, and I know he's going to try to go to where Steve Gaines is from, Miami, Oklahoma. So we're looking for a great year for the Stone Roadie podcast in 2024. Craig's got his glasses on. Look at that. Are they lighting up, Craig?
No, these aren't the ones that light up.
Oh, they don't light up. Okay.
No.
Okay. Yeah. So that was a great year for the Stone Roadie podcast, and we really appreciate all the support, all the comments, all the positive comments, all the critiques, all the questions. Keep it up. We read them. I always love to read all the comments and emails being sent to me. And so Craig just stepped away for a second. When he comes back, I just want to ask Craig, there you are, Craig. I want to ask you what were some memories of this year? Good and bad memories.
Oh my gosh, I wrote some down. First I want to last week we got a card from Kenny Phillips. Kenny Phillips, and he said he grew up with Alan and Leon. And he played in a band, and he lived about a couple blocks from Alan, and Alan used to come over and jam with his band, and I reached out and I got a hold of him, and I had him contact Griff, and Griff, he called Griff, and we're going to have him, and he lives where Griff, near where Griff used to live, not far from where he lives now. So Griff has got a On the Road with Griff Martin scheduled with him, and he's going to do an interview with Kenny Phillips, and we're going to talk about early days with Alan and Leon, and he's also friends with Joe Crimp and some of the other guys with the band. So that'll be kind of cool.
Oh wow, that's going to be interesting.
But last night I kind of tried to think about what happened to me last year, and first thing I could think of was February 2nd, that's my birthday. and everybody might know I had a little incident with some brownies on my birthday. And
if you didn't mention that, I was going to mention that one.
took a trip to the emergency room. In March, Gary died, and that was a little bit traumatic to me. I mean, I hadn't talked to Gary I talked to him, but not, we hadn't been hanging around for quite a while. But still, when Gary passed away, that was pretty traumatic to me, because that's the last of them. Gosh, I'm the only one. Me and Artemis are the only ones left from the band, except for us original roadies. Me and Kevin Elson and Joe Barnes, we're still alive, and then Mark Frank, he was the drum roadie there at the end too. But yeah, that's me and Kevin Nelson and Joe Barnes, those original roadies, are still alive now. There's a bunch of roadies that aren't alive anymore. Like Raymond Watkins and Chuck Flowers and John Butler, and there's quite a few people that that didn't make it through. We had some lighting guys and some stuff. My memory's kind of losing me right now, but yeah, we lost a lot of people, and everybody in the band's gone. I was kind of reflecting. I'm going, I was born in 1951, and I didn't ever think I would see New Year's Eve 2000. I mean, that's from the time I was born till 2000. That's 50 years. I went, man, what's the world gonna be like in the year 2000? Well, this is 2024. I mean, it's almost 2025. It's almost a quarter century later, and we're it's kind of odd, that it's 2025. It's kind of weird.
I remember when growing up, they used to talk about 2001, the Space Odyssey, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, it seemed like so far away, and
wow, crazy, but it's here. Yeah. So glad we're all still, alive and going well and able to have these kinds of, this podcast where we can communicate and learn new things about Lynyrd Skynyrd, the band that so many of us love. I remember you didn't talk about one of the, I guess, negative things was when somebody stole your gator.
Yeah. I kind of lost track there when I started talking about Gary. Then Gary died, and then I went down to Florida, and then we had that little celebration out there at Whitey's, and that was pretty cool. Met a lot of people out there, so that was kind of a high point of my that 2023 out at Whitey's. Meeting all those people out there. That turned out to be quite a good function, and then we had the Rockin' for a Reason, and that was pretty cool. Met a whole lot of people there, and then we had some bad blood that took off from that, and there was a few incidents that happened, so that was a little bit of a confusing situation when that happened. And of course, at Gary's funeral, I was took a lot of heat for selling that funeral brochure at Gary's, but then that kind of turned into because that was the first donation to the really the first donation to the Forgotten Survivors. All that all went to Mark Howard, and then that kind of evolved into what we did last year. But that the donation thing, that's kind of dried up, and we don't know how that's going to go next year. And we're not going to push people for donations. That was totally voluntary. So we're not going to beat that drum all year. We tried not to this year, but people kept sending them in, and we kept, when they did, we acknowledged that people sent them in, and it was pretty successful. We took in close to $25,000, so that was pretty cool. Yeah, and then I, like you mentioned, in May, my gator got stolen. So that was kind of a bummer. I haven't really missed it yet. We haven't had any real snow. My buddy Larry misses it. He used to as a little farm vehicle to do stuff around here with. So yeah, my buddy Larry misses it. But then yeah, and then in October I went down to the memorial service, and that was a whole lot of fun. Except on the way down there, I blew my engine in my car, and that cost me a whole bunch of money to fix that. And then somebody hit my rental car, and that cost me some more money. And then on the way home, I got a speeding ticket, and that cost me some more money. And so yeah, I didn't have a whole lot of good luck here in 2023, but yeah, those are just a few of the things that happened to me in 2023, but not a whole bunch of good things happened to me in 23, except for my what happened with meeting all the fans of Lynyrd Skynyrd at these functions that we had, and then that was all really cool. Yeah.
As you said, people were just so excited to meet you, and you kept saying, I'm just the roadie, but you became like the celebrity. I shook.
It's amazing the way people kind of perceive me, and I don't know. It's the last few weeks I've been noticing how much misinformation there is about this band, and people go, in the Stone Roadie show, you need to get back to some skinformation, and it's like I said before, I don't really know what people want to know, and there's a lot of stuff that that I just don't know what to talk about. It's like my reason for not writing a book is I don't want to just sit down and write things that I want to talk about. I'd rather, touch on things that people would like to know. And I wish, maybe people would do a little research and try to come up with questions to ask me, and then I'd be glad to answer them. I know Griff and I talked again for about half an hour last night. We were going, man, we're gonna have to start doing these morning shows with the Stone Roadie and these rocket scientists. It's like, what the heck are we gotten into? What are we going to talk about? Maybe we should start doing them Tuesdays and Thursdays until we figure out what we're doing, or maybe then we could break into Monday, Wednesday, and Friday or whatever. But we could just talk. But we just talk about just whatever comes up, But I started talking about our first trips, to California and meeting Linda Blair and all this and that and the other thing, and once again, Griff at the end of it says, that would have made a great podcast. Seems like every time we talk, that's what at the end of the conversation we go, God, that would have made a great podcast. So that's kind of where this morning show thing took off. But I was talking, but since Griff, one of my suggestions was, maybe, there's a lot of scuttlebutt about aliens and stuff aliens and stuff, on the news and stuff. And, I don't know if it's a scare tactic or if they're trying to scare us from a alien invasion or whatever, but Griff, he worked with NASA, and we kind of got into the subject about, was there ever a moon landing? I mean, do you think there really was one? Because, you see a lot of you see a lot of things that that are sets that you can see where that might have been just faked, and he said, and Griff said, I watched those shuttles go up, he said, but it's not out of the question that those guys got out of those things and didn't go up in them, it's just, you never know, so, we might talk about, and what people think about but Elon Musk seems to think you can go to Mars and stuff, so but then there's supposed to be some kind of a barrier that you're not supposed to be able to get out of, but then there's things like the Hubble shuttle telescope that they say that they've sent up and made it across this barrier, but who knows, I mean,
Yeah, there are, yeah, that's true. And as far as the going to the moon, there's that Van Allen radiation belt, and they're saying that it's impossible to get through that without without dying, whatever, that you can't get through that. So, whenever I hear these conspiracy theories, I listen to them, but I don't make a judgment. But there are conspiracy theories about everything, about 9/11, whether that was an inside job, about this Sandy Hook, Connecticut, those killings, all of these things, even Kennedy, when Kennedy was killed, President Kennedy, people think that was a setup. So, but anyway, it's interesting to talk about. As far as the moon landing, a lot of people feel that it's a hoax. And if you look on YouTube, you'll see, evidence on both sides. So maybe that's something that you and Griff can talk about, in as much as Griff worked for NASA for such a long time. Maybe he has some information that he wants to share. I don't know.
There's so much misinformation about this band, though. My gosh, somebody sent me something the other day of a documentary saying that Ronnie's wife was on the airplane. I mean, it's crazy, this stuff. I watch podcasts about documentaries about the band, and I just laugh. I go, where did they get this? And you watch stuff about the band's net worth and stuff, and the cars they drive, and they're showing cars that I know they don't have, and it's kind of funny, so maybe we'll just kind of try to focus on to bust these documentaries on the misinformation they're doing. I mean, it's there's not many of us around that can actually call bullshit on some of these things. I mean, it's 50 years ago. It's just but it's crazy.
I know a lot of people are asking, they write to me, or they write in the comments, can you get Artemis on the show? Can you get Ricky Medlock on the show? Can you get Randall Hall on the show? If those people are listening, we would, the Stone Roadie would love to have you on the podcast, but I know they could answer a lot of questions. Artemis can answer a lot of questions, but whether or not he's going to come on is his decision. But, there are questions about what happened the night of the crash, whether he was shot or not. I would love to hear him come and talk about that and clear it up for any of those.
I get a lot of people ask me what my opinion is on the band still continuing to tour. And I tell everybody, it doesn't bother me a bit. I mean, Johnny, as long as Johnny's out there, and I still consider Ricky one of the original members, and they're closer than you're going to get, because as soon as they quit, somebody else is going to try to do it, and as long as Johnny and Ricky are in there, they're as close as you're going to get. I mean, Ricky was, Curtis Lowe was Shorty Medlock. I mean, that's Ricky's grandpa. I mean, and Ronnie and them used to always go over, like they said, and listen to Shorty play, and Ricky was around during that whole time. I mean, when Bob quit the band, Ricky was the drummer. I don't see the controversy here. I mean, he was, as far as I'm concerned, Ricky was an original member. And, I know Ricky kind of was speculating whether they should continue, and Johnny was kind of speculating whether they should continue, but Sons are they're gonna continue, and they're kind of doing it for the fans, so more power to them, and I don't hold it against them for continuing.
As long as they keep selling out shows and the people want to see them, then more power to them. They should continue playing.
Yeah.
I mean, they're selling out the arenas, then that means people want to see the Lynyrd Skynyrd tribute band, and that's all there is to it. So if they enjoy it and they have a passion for the music, then do it. I don't think Ronnie would mind, or Alan, or
Yeah.
Gary.
No, well, Ronnie always said that one day Johnny was going to sing my songs, and he's right.
Yeah. I love the music. They're keeping the music of Lynyrd Skynyrd alive, which is,
Yeah,
and
they
as
are.
far as like what you were saying about the information, and you giving information, it's really up to the viewers to ask the questions, and that's what we do. That's what Griff does. That's what I do. We ask you the questions, and you answer the questions to the best of your knowledge. And you can't be expected to remember everything from 50 years ago. But
Well,
that's where the
if you ask
information
me a
comes
question,
from.
you'll rattle my head, and then I'll go, "Oh yeah, I remember that."
Well,
Sometimes
we
I
don't
do,
preview
sometimes I
them.
don't.
Well, we don't preview them. That's why I'm asking you a question. It's like, what? I don't remember that. You can't remember everything. But then, the guests, when the guests come on, they tell great stories and about having known members of the band. But it's really up to the listeners to send the questions in and get that information, because the questions come in. A lot of the times questions, I'll ask you things that have been asked several times before, and I keep asking the same question, but you have to watch the podcast to get the answers. But I'm going to ask you some questions right now that I'm sure you've answered, but we're going to just do them again for the heck of it. Somebody keeps saying, we've already talked about Linda Blair. I know the story for what you've said about how you met Linda Blair, but somebody keeps saying, I want to know more about Linda Blair. So why don't you just tell us what happened? Was she with any of the band members? Who was she more friendly with? Who did she hang around with? What's the story with Linda
Well,
Blair?
from the conversation me and Griff had last night, I kind of started remembering some things, and from what I remember,
Good.
we did some Universal Studio tours when we went out there, and seems like Dean was on some kind of a Universal Studio tour and ran into Linda Blair. And Dean wasn't shy. Dean just would go right up to her and go, "Hey, I work with Lynyrd Skynyrd," and she would have been, open to that, and that's how she kind of ended up back at the Continental Hired House, kind of partying with the band. And then I remember me and Dean went over to someplace she was too. It's kind of sketchy, but it was somewhere near Universal Studios. But yeah, that's kind of when we met her. And that I don't want to spoil it, because we had a thing kind of planned out. We were gonna talk about a whole bunch of stuff that happened during that particular visit to California, with Leon throwing a bottle of Jack, got mad at his wife and went and threw a bottle of Jack Daniels off the 10th floor, and then happened to watch it go out the window and kind of where it was headed, and some guy was coming down the road walking his dog.
Oh no.
And Leon went, "Oh no, oh no, oh no," and it nailed the guy. And the police came and we're looking for Leon, or looking for whoever threw the bottle. I mean, they figured anybody that would, at the Continental Riot House, if somebody throwing a bottle of Jack Daniels from the 10th floor, they probably figured it was probably somebody in a band. And
yeah, of course,
Lynyrd Skynyrd was kind of might be known for stuff like that, and they might be involved. But yeah.
Was this during the Linda Blair era or no?
That was that was the same. Yeah, when we met Linda Blair, there's a whole bunch of stuff went on during that visit to the to California. That's when Leon and Ronnie and Gary Tuttle's was right across the street, a tattoo place, and we all went to a room and got drunk before we went and got tattoos. But when they were walking across the street to go get a tattoo, I went, "Hey man, I got to go to my room for a minute. I'll be right there." And I went to my room and locked the door and didn't come out. So I didn't get
That's
a
why
tattoo.
you don't have a tattoo.
I don't have a tattoo, no. But I did the partying with them, but I missed out on the tattoo intentionally.
But Alan didn't have any tattoos.
No, no.
And Gary didn't have tattoos, did he?
Gary had tattoos, yeah.
Oh, he did.
Artemis didn't have any, and Steve didn't have any. But
Artemis was a Marine, though. Artemis was a Marine. He didn't have any tattoos.
No.
Really? That's interesting.
Tattoos.
Wow.
Yeah.
So who had them? Just Leon?
Ronnie, Gary. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I didn't know that. Okay. But Linda Blair. So, I saw her one time when in that concert, the Rossington Collins Band concert. I don't remember if it was 1980 or 1981. That was when Gene Odom told my friend and my cousin and me where they were staying after. He said they're staying at the Hilton Hotel down off the Parkway, the New Jersey Garden State Parkway. We went there. That was when Gene took us in. He said, "You want to come travel with us on the bus?" I was like, "I can't do that. I'm going to get in trouble. I'm not allowed to do that." That I would have had to have dealt with you. But anyway, so we went up to the room. It took us up to the rooms, and he opened one of the doors, and it was Gary's room. And Linda Blair was in there. She was lying on the bed. She looked like she had done a lot of partying that night. And closed the door, went to the next room. But what was she like? She seemed like she was a very outgoing young girl, right? She was about 15 or 16 when you guys hung out with her, right?
Yeah. Linda, she was very friendly, very, very nice. Yeah. We became pretty good friends. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, you could maybe talk more about that on one of your morning shows, but everybody wants to know about Linda Blair, and that's why I'm asking you these questions, because people want to know more about Linda Blair. Anything you can think of that you care to share? Oh, I love that backdrop. And then you know what? Angela Lynyrd, she's really sweet. She's been sending donations. She sent me a card.
She's real cool. Yeah.
Well, she said, I always loved Gary. Now, you were a very good friend of Gary's, but for somebody who wasn't a friend of Gary, somebody just meeting him for the first time or not knowing him, what was he really like? Was he friendly to people who came up to him and wanted to get to know him, or was he a little standoffish? How do you think he was?
Gary's kind of standoffish, not because he's, what's the word? He's just kind of shy. Gary's just kind of shy.
Okay.
So yeah. He's not, he's kind of shy.
So,
oh boy, this always happens.
This always happens. Craig's phone is ringing while he's doing a podcast. Goodbye. One of the things that I wanted you to talk about or think about, and we can do it on another podcast, is kind of like things that you didn't know about the band members. Alan, things nobody knew about Alan, Gary, Leon, Billy, Ronnie, Artemis. For example, there was a picture, Jerry Birchie sent me some pictures earlier this week of Alan. And one of the pictures was Alan playing the piano. And I said, that's not Alan, because that's not Alan's nose. I knew off the bat Alan had a really cute little nose, and that wasn't Alan's nose. And then I said, since when did Alan play the piano? But then you mentioned that Alan did dabble a little at the piano, didn't he?
Yeah, he knew a couple of little things, Mm-hmm. It's like, he could play a couple of little things. He knew a couple of chords, and he dabbled around a little bit. He wasn't a pianist by no means, but it's like Ronnie played a little bit of acoustic guitar, but he wasn't a guitar player, But
Oh, I've never
yeah,
seen a good picture of Ronnie with a guitar. Now, let me ask you a question. Did Alan sing at all?
not that I know. I never heard that. Right.
Okay. Because one of the guys,
I might have heard him kind of try to sing a couple of times, but no, he kind of like me singing.
oh, okay, he doesn't sing.
No, it was just,
No, I'm only kidding.
he knew he couldn't sing, but he did it anyways.
Well, one of the guests, I forget who it was, said that Alan, he played, and I love this song, Romeo and Juliet, the Dire Straits song, and he was playing Romeo and Juliet on the guitar, and he was singing it. He was playing it, and then also they saw him sing that song Amy about his daughter. But it was one
Uh-huh.
of the guys, maybe it was Mike Owens or somebody, said that he sang a little bit. So I'd like to know more about that. I wish there were video or some footage of Alan playing the piano, Alan singing, or any of the guys doing other things that we don't normally see, like Ronnie playing the guitar. What about Gary? Did Gary play anything other than the guitar?
I don't believe so. No.
What about Leon? Anything other than the bass?
Guitar. He played guitar too. I think Leon might have played a little bit of piano. I don't know.
Oh, was
Just
Billy the
a
only
few
one?
chords. I mean,
Yeah,
if you knew chords on a guitar, you try to maybe figure them out on a piano.
right,
Yeah.
right. What about is Billy the only one who was a classically trained musician? Did
Yeah,
any of the
yeah,
other ones
yeah.
have any
Billy could read
lessons or
music
anything?
and everything. No,
Really?
yeah,
None of the guys could read sheet music that you
no.
know of? Wow.
Ed King claimed he couldn't, but Mike Esty said yeah he could.
Okay. And then again, what about I know I asked you once a couple of podcasts ago about the being drafted. You said that your number never came up, but what about the guys? How did they avoid the draft? I know Artemis was a Marine, but was he drafted or did he just join the military?
I'm
You
not
know?
sure. I think he might
Okay.
have joined. I'm not
Mm.
really sure. He was in there with Mike Sparks. He was in
Oh,
the Marines
okay.
with Mike
Interesting.
Sparks. Yeah.
Did somebody shoot his foot intentionally? Was that one of the band members? Somebody shot his foot intentionally to avoid the draft, or was that another band? I thought I remembered somebody.
Uh, Not that I know of. I think somebody
Okay,
said Ronnie did that, but I don't know. I think Gene
okay,
uh, um, kind of uh, debunked that rumor or whatever. I think he said that Ronnie did get shot, but I think he said that his brother Donnie shot him, but accidentally somehow.
Oh,
Yeah.
but it wasn't to intentionally to avoid the
No,
draft. Oh,
no.
okay. Well, that's a
Not
good
that
thing.
I know
Okay. The other question Angela Leonard wants to know was, now this is a drama. I don't like to get into drama, but I'm going to ask the question. If you don't answer it, you don't have to. But she said, is it true? I've heard that Gene said some bad stuff about Gary when they started the tribute band. Do you know whether any was any kind of dissension or any kind of problem between Gene and Gary at one point?
Yeah, they had issues. They had some
Okay.
issues, yeah.
Okay. You don't have to elaborate on. She was just asking the question. So we're
I
just
just
gonna
I
leave it at
don't know
that.
specifics about that. I just know they had some issues, yeah.
So then
Don't
if
know.
Gene wants to come on again, I'm sure he will. He can talk about that if he wants to, but all right. Now, somebody by the name of Smokin' Pots, he said there are 4 songs that I would like to know Craig's opinion about these 4 songs. Working for MCA, Needle and the Spoon, Whiskey Rock and Roller, and On the Hunt. Wants to know what your take is on any of those songs.
Those are all great songs. Working for MZA, On the Hunt. Um,
Yeah.
what was the other ones?
Needle in the Spoon.
Needle in the Spoon. Yeah, those are all great songs.
Isn't that the one where Alan uses the wah-wah pedal? Needle in the Spoon?
Yeah.
Okay. Thought so. Okay. Yeah, they're all great songs. All right. Rob Tennis wants know, did JoJo, did she hang out with any of the girls?
Um,
Cassie or Leslie socially, or was it just for the band?
well, JoJo and Alan spent a lot of time together.
I know, we know that.
Yeah. And yeah, JoJo would go shopping with the girls and stuff, but I don't think Leslie got along too good with JoJo. I don't think Leslie appreciated JoJo's morality very much.
Okay.
Yeah.
But did the girls ever get into it? Or were they just all just professional?
No, I never seen them
Okay.
argue at all.
Okay. All right. Because girls can do that, especially when they say you put three girls together. That's can be a recipe
No, I
for drama.
never seen them.
And then Jeff,
They all dressed totally different, you know.
oh, I know that.
I mean,
Yeah.
JoJo dressed like a gypsy whore,
I couldn't have said it better.
and Cassie was kind of a hippie, and
Yeah.
Leslie always dressed really cute and sexy.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. That's right. You see the pictures of the three, and JoJo is always, with her flowy clothes and everything. Definitely. All right. Question from Jeff Goodridge. He said, I recently saw a video with Gene. Now, I don't know if this is correct. This is what he said. There was a video on Days with Jordan the Lion. I don't know what that is, but he said he was talking about that Artemis was going to be replaced by Steve's brother at one point.
Yeah, I never heard that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think Steve's brother was that great of a drummer. Steve's brother wasn't even the drummer in Steve's band.
Well, at what point were they going to was there a
I don't think there was any talk
issue?
about ever replacing Artemis. I never heard about any.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't either. I didn't read anything about that. Okay.
No, I never heard about that.
Sam Gill has a question about Dean's family. He wants to know if he had any family in Florida that you know about.
He had a sister, and I'm not sure about her current situation, whether she's still alive or whatever. Yeah.
Okay. And then Jimmy J. Smith, he says, was Don Barnes of 38 Special, was he related to the Barnes man who was Skynyrd Roadie?
No. Joe Barnes and Don Barnes weren't related at all.
Okay. And then this is a long one. This is from Stephen Becky Kane. Okay. He says, and I'm just going to read what they say. He says, in November of 1976 in Binghamton, New York, he said the hotel bar closed before the concert ended due to the band's reputation. As the band commingled, what did they say? He said that somebody staged a sit-in in the lobby, and then management caved in and let the bar stay open past 3:00 with no incidents. I guess they didn't want the hotel bar closed. I'm sorry, they didn't want the bar open because of Skynyrd's reputation, and some people staged a sit-in, and they ended up keeping the bar open, and then Skynyrd never came back. Are you familiar with anything like that?
I kind of remember something like that. Yeah,
Okay.
I kind of remember places where they did close the bar down early because we were there. Yeah.
Okay. So there is something to this question because I'm not sure exactly what he was, if he was
Yeah,
there or
that
what
happened a
happened.
couple of times. Yeah, the bar was normally scheduled open, but they closed it down because we were there.
Okay. And then there are a couple of more drama questions. Jim Kings asked, did Ronnie tell Gene to watch your back around Gary?
I heard that. I've heard that before. Yeah, I don't know. I never. Ronnie never expressed that point to me personally, but
Yeah.
I've heard he had said that a couple of times.
These are
Yeah.
things that we'd have to ask Gene. If Gene comes back on the podcast, you can ask him these questions
Well, if
because he
Gene
would know,
said it,
right?
Gene said it. It's chances are it's probably true. I mean,
Okay. Yeah. Yep. And then somebody wants to know, do you remember how much do you remember of the old gray whistle test?
Oh boy, that was when I very first got with the band, and it was we went to England, and that was set up to do that the TV thing, and yeah, I remember some about it. I don't remember a lot about it. I remember some things about it, but not a lot. Nothing to be specific about. No.
Was Ronnie sick during that? I thought I had read that somebody said Ronnie wasn't feeling well or his throat was sore. Was that the concert?
Don't I can't remember that. No, I
Okay.
can't
All
remember
right.
that. No.
So Roy Cox wants to know about the song Am I Losing? He says, in my opinion, that's one of my favorite Skynyrd songs. Why didn't they ever play that in concert as part of the
It's
regular set?
it's just wasn't an upbeat enough song. It just wasn't really Am I Losing just really wasn't a hit. It wasn't,
Yeah.
a lot of people didn't recognize that song, and it wasn't a real powerful song. Most of Skinner's live songs were real powerful,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
MCA, like
Right.
On the Hunt,
Yeah.
you know.
Right. That makes sense. They had a lot of amazing
Yeah,
songs
they
that
were
were
all.
not really meant for live
It
concerts.
was all like Ronnie used to say, man. Hit him in the left, hit him in the right, kick him in the nuts, and drop him.
I got a
And then
question from
leave the stage with them wanting more. Yeah.
that's right. That's right. That's right. I got a question from Robert Lamb. Now, not the Robert Lamb who was on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. It's the other Robert Lamb. There are two.
Mhm.
And he wants to know what was going on with John Mellencamp and Alan Collins. Because, John Mellencamp said video about something every time he saw Alan would beat him up or hit him or something like that. Was Alan a bully?
No, that was done in criteria. You know what? And I don't know because at that time, I was Alan's chauffeur. I mean, me and Alan were inseparable at that time. I was always with Alan, and he never said anything to me that I remember that he didn't like him or whatever. I don't know. That I remember, I don't know.
I wonder if it's true that Alan struck him.
No, I know.
I know Alan didn't like Dave Lubeck, right? You said that he didn't
He
like
had
him at all.
a couple of issues with Lubeck. Yeah, one time we and Alan were in the white tornado that Alan gave me, and Lubeck was in his Corvette in St. Augustine, and we saw Lubeck, and Alan's going, ram him. Just ram him. Don't worry about it. I'll pay for it. Just ram him.
Yep. Man. All right, got a question from Chris Godwin. Do you remember what was the last Skynyrd show you worked before you retired?
No, It was
Okay.
2014.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, 2000.
All right.
No, 2000 and that was 2005. Yeah,
Oh,
June or July of 2005. Yeah,
okay.
no,
Wow.
I was a mess back then. I had hepatitis. I was an alcoholic. I was a mess. And that medicine that I was taking for hepatitis, it didn't agree with me at all. I come home and I was not in good shape.
No.
My fifth wife, I got off that medicine, and she's threatened that if I ever got on that medicine again, she'd leave me. But I never got on the medicine again, but she left anyways. She was just looking for an excuse to get out.
Let's get him out of
Get me
here.
out of here. I just went out.
All right, got
I
a
can
question.
remember at the end that everything I did was an excuse for a divorce.
Oh, oh, poor Craig. All right, got a question from your buddy TP. TP. He says, Craig, what was your pet peeve when arriving at a venue? What was the worst thing that happened on your watch while getting ready for a show? So what was your pet peeve, and what was the worst thing that ever happened while you were on duty?
I was in charge of ordering the food for the day, everything that everybody ate during the day.
Mm-hmm.
And when I walked in and seen donuts, I about lost it. No donuts. Yeah, no donuts.
I'm having fun with these masks. This is so cool. I didn't know you could do this with Zoom. When I tutor with Zoom, I'll start using this with my students. They're like, Miss Kathy, you're so silly. All right, got a question from Brian Delory. Is Michael Devlin that you've talked about? Do you know Michael Devlin? Do you know a Michael Devlin?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I guess I don't know who Michael Devlin is, but he wants to know if he was the same Michael Devlin who used to be the bass player for Whitesnake.
I'm not sure who he's referring to.
All right, Brian, you have to clarify who this guy is. Oh, by the way, Ed King, his book, Rick Droder wants to know, are there any news on Ed's book? I know for a while you were in contact with his wife, right? She was trying
Yeah, I gave her
you some pictures.
some photos. She was looking for photos, and I
Yeah,
gave her a couple of photos, and she's trying to get it together. Yeah.
cool. Okay. All right. And have you heard anything about Mike SD / Ed King music? Anything about that?
No, I
Okay.
haven't. Last I talked to Mike, he was trying to get with Ed's wife Janice and seeing
Okay.
what they could do about that. Yeah.
Okay. All righty. And now this is a question about the song
Or
He's
Sharon.
Alive.
What did I say?
Sharon
Janice.
King.
Sharon. Jiminy Christmas.
Sharon
See, that was
Brockton.
a
Yeah.
blooper.
See that? There's another one for you. I think I made a
I
couple of
caught it
bloopers
though.
today. Some of the way that the questions come into me, I try to figure out exactly what they're saying and but even then, I don't really understand what they're asking. I try to edit the questions a little bit, but here's another one. This is from somebody by the name of G-Man. He's talking about referring to the song He's Alive, the demo version of He's Alive. And he says, Alan, to his knowledge, uses a crybaby at the end of that song. You recall that?
I don't remember that. No.
Okay. All right. Well, he said, is it true that Alan was very adamant about never releasing this song. And the reason that he heard is because the last line of the first verse says, quote, that I do love you man to man, unquote. And Alan thought that verse would be taken as a gay reference. Do you know anything about that?
No, never heard nothing about that.
Okay. All righty. We don't know about that, G-Man. Sorry. Sorry. I asked the question, but and another thing about Ed King. Now, Don Donovan wants to know. So when Ed left the band, right? He left, didn't tell anybody, right? How did he get his equipment back? Did he go get his stuff, his guitars and his amp, and then take off, or did he have to communicate with the band, the crew after that to come get his stuff? Do you remember?
Boy, no, I don't remember that.
All right.
I don't remember.
That's interesting. Because when you leave, it's easier to leave, but how are you going to get all your stuff back?
Yeah,
So-
because his guitars were with the equipment.
Mhm.
Yeah, I wasn't doing guitars when Ed was in the band, so
Mhm.
that would have been Chuck Flowers, and I don't know if Chuck sent them, or if the road manager sent them to Ed, or what happened.
All righty. We don't know. All right. Craig doesn't know everything. He knows a lot, but he doesn't.
I
he
wasn't
can't
taking
remember
care of
everything.
guitars then, so I'm not familiar with that. Yeah.
Okay. Now, this question's about Alan and Alan's solo album. David Lee wants to know, how much did Alan actually play on his solo album? The Alan Collins Band.
Oh boy, not a lot. Not a lot. Yeah, he was in pretty bad shape during that. Yeah, he did a lot of drugs. He was, shooting up a lot of Deladas, And I asked Alan, I said, "Man, how are you gonna function on the road? We go on the road, you can't keep up this pace." And he didn't. Yeah, we only did about 6 shows, and he went home. Yeah, he couldn't.
Oh, what a shame.
Couldn't maintain. Yeah.
Even the Rossington Collins Band, recently or just a week ago, I put those pictures up that I took the Rossington Collins Band at the Fountain Casino, New Jersey. I believe that was December of 1982. I don't think it was December of 1981, but Alan looked awful. I mean, he had the full beard, mustache. His eyes were he looked so sad and just wasted and such a mess. And I was standing right in front of the stage, right? Because there were no barriers. You could just lean up against the stage. And I was within, I could have touched his shoe. But I took some real close.
That's where you took the picture of me standing on the side of the stage with the cowboy shirt on.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that I was looking through those pictures. I mean, those pictures are in my closet in envelopes of these old pictures. And I was like, oh my God, there's Craig. That was so weird. That was so weird. You were standing right there, but I got some really close-up shots of Alan. He just looked terrible. He just so sad.
Someone else said that too. Someone said that Alan looked horrible doing it. He looked really strung out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He was not a happy person. Oh, he looked normal. No, for me, having seen the band, a couple of times. The first time I saw them at the Garden State Arts Center in Holmdel, New Jersey was June, I think, of 80 or July of 80. They were so happy. And then when they came back the next year, Alan had the beard. He had like a green Hawaiian shirt on. He looked so different. He just had deteriorated so much from the first year to the second year. So he was obviously very unhappy. Couple more things, and then we're gonna do our champagne bottle.
Yeah, you got to take off pretty soon. So we're gonna call about 8 minutes the Stone Roadie Show midnight.
I think I have one more. I'm gonna do one more question. I have some more. I'll save them till next time. One more question. Let's see. I'm gonna ask, and it's going to be are there any more questions? I got a lot done today. Well, you know what? I think that's it. I have a couple more, but I don't want to ask those today. We'll do them next time. I think I want to get to the champagne, our fake champagne bottles here
Yeah,
that I
it's
have.
funny. It's funny. I still have the champagne bottle. One of the champagne bottles from last year we had here.
Oh my
We had a
goodness.
couple of them, yeah.
Wow.
But
Haven't cleaned up in a while, huh, Craig?
but I also have one of those too.
This is it. Yeah, I got it at the party store just yesterday.
But I guess are we gonna let's see how we're gonna do this. We're gonna do a countdown for New Year's Eve.
Well, before we do it, we just want to say, Griff and Craig and me and the new Stonette, we all want everybody.
Shelby Barrett, yeah.
Shelby Barrett, beautiful, beautiful Shelby, the Stonette. We all want to just thank everybody for all the support and for watching the podcast and all the donations and the positive comments and the feedback and everything. It's just so wonderful. I love being a part of this. It's just so much fun for me. So, I hope everybody has a safe night tonight for those who are going out and has a good 2024. I really hope everybody has a happy, healthy, prosperous 2024. What do you want to say, Craig?
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for those donations. That was really, really thoughtful of y'all, and y'all, thanking me for doing this. But like I've said before, I just just all evolved kind of like naturally. It's like all of a sudden people wanted to send in donations, and there was actually people, bands and stuff that wanted to donate part of their proceeds to the survivors. After I did the thing with Mark Howard and sent him that money, people started wanting to support the survivors, and then someone talked me into taking a donation. So we did that, and then we kind of said, yeah, we took a donation for the survivors, and then people just started sending them in, and we never intended on the Stone Roadie show to be revolve around donations, but we really appreciate everybody that did it. But we started this podcast March of 2022. Yeah, 2022, and we didn't really start taking any of those donations till sometime after the funeral brochure incident in 2023, and then we finally monetized. I don't remember if we monetized before that or whatever, but yeah, we're still not making a lot of money on the subscription thing, so it's going to take, we're not going to be able to contribute much money to the forgotten survivors through subscriptions, but I don't want to ask people for donations anymore, but we really wish you kind of might get people to subscribe and get our subscriptions up.
Yes, subscribe.
We're about, I don't know, we're probably about 150 away from our 2,000 mark, so
great. Yay.
yeah, so it's still not going to do a lot for supporting the survivors, but we have a lot of people that are sending things in to auction off and stuff like that, so we'll just do what we can to support them, but yeah, we can't keep you from not sending in donations, but we're not gonna we're not gonna really beat the drum for it. I just don't want
Yeah.
turn this into
Right.
a donation thing, but it sure was nice to all you people that did that, and I really appreciate it. And all those survivors, we gave them all $5,000. Basically, we gave each one of those people $5,000. So $5,000 ain't chump change to anybody.
Yeah.
I'm sure that helped out, but Mark Howard's going through a lot of problems and stuff. And I talked to Paul Welsh a couple days ago, and I had to contact everybody and make sure their addresses were still the same. And Paul seems like he's doing okay, and Mark Howard, he's I saw a podcast of his where he y'all can support Mark's podcast. He does the True Backstage and Road Stories, and he's got a lot more subscribers than we have. So he does. I don't know how much he makes a month or whatever on subscriptions, but I'm sure he needs every bit of it. But yeah, if you can. He has. I don't think he's been doing very many podcasts here lately, but he's done quite a few. So maybe if y'all want to go back and check out some of his old podcasts. But yeah, that's about all I got to say about 2023 on the Stone Roadie show, and we're looking forward to 2024, and like we're gonna start the morning show with Craig Reed, the Stone Roadie, and Griff Hart, the rocket scientist. We don't have any idea what we're gonna talk about yet, but we didn't have any idea what we were gonna do when we started this either. So we'll try to come up with something, But we're just gonna do a little morning show, like a half an hour, and just kind of do a little, something to listen to on the way to work. We'll try to make you laugh a little bit on the way to work or whatever,
That's good. I'll be listening. I'll definitely be listening on the way to work. But again, if anybody knows any good stories about the band, anybody who's known any of the band members, contact us, and we'll see if we could get you on the podcast, because everybody loves to see the guests. So that'll be cool. All right.
Yeah, all you got to do is stick your finger in that hole.
I did that part.
Oh, okay.
Now what do we do? Are we going to count down from 10, or how are we going to do this?
Well, yeah, we're gonna act like it's midnight in Stone Roadie world here, and then I'll try to sync this up to make it at midnight on Atlantic Standard Time, which is an hour before Eastern Standard Time. So we'll see how that works out. But
right.
Yeah,
so
we'll do. I guess here we go. So
I got a cat right next to me. I don't know what's going to happen when I pop this. She'll probably go. I don't know where this is going to hit, so I'm going to just straight up, right, Craig?
Yeah, straight up, I guess.
And I just twist it, right? I've never done this before.
It's clockwise, so that would be this way.
Clockwise?
Yeah, clockwise, yeah.
Okay.
So it'd be 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay,
Happy
you
New
pop
Year.
first. You pop first. Oh, hey! Happy New Year!
Confetti all over my living room. Happy New Year.
Boy. Man, oh man, oh man.
Been this up for days.
What a mess. I'm still cleaning them up from last year. Oh my, I should have closed some of these drawers.
It's very pretty though. Yeah, me too. I have it all over the place.
Oh,
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy
from the
New
Stone Roadie
Year.
Show. And we'll see you next year, everyone.
All righty then. Me and Griff will see you, I guess. Today's Sunday. I guess Griff and I'll See you Wednesday on the Stone Roadie Show. And
Wait
this
a
has
minute, you
been
have to sing. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. You have to sing. Happy trail.
Well, I was gonna do that. I was gonna do that
Sorry, go ahead.
and this has been Craig Reed, the Stone Roadie, and the lovely Kathy GODSEY. And until Wednesday on the Stone Roadie Show, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep token until then. And may the good Lord take a liking to you. And see you later, alligator, at the wild crocodile. And see you next year on the Stone Roadie Show. And oh my gosh, my screen.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Yeah. Happy New Year. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Toodaloo.